This is EA Sports coverage of the PGA Tour. Simply put, there is nothing like it in the game of golf. It is by far the biggest spectator event in the sport. We're at TPC Scottsdale in Scottsdale, Arizona. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside my friend and colleague Frank Nobilo. And Frank, what can you tell us about this golf course?
Well, everybody wants to know about 16, the famed par 3 here, surrounded by those skyboxes. Once again, that'll be a topic of the day. But really, this is a regular sight for the PGA Tour. So those of you that were familiar with the golf course, it's now changed. 2014, the designers Morris and Weiskopf did a massive renovation.
Well over 100,000 fans every day, better than 500,000 for the week. It's a giant party mixed in with a heck of a tournament. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. On the green. And a chance for birdie here on the first hole. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Well, you're not going to make that putt all the time, but you'd like to at least get it to the hole.
If he keeps putting like that, he's going to be an announcer in no time.
That is a solid par putt. Par 4 second hole, a little bit longer than the first, this one at 442 yards.
Yeah, they've added a new tee, changed the bunkering down the right side. Still a semi-blind tee shot. A hole that bends softly to the left side. The bunkering around this green has changed. Still, it requires a very precise tee shot.
And that's going to stay on the fairway with the second hole. Frank, what makes this downhill shot a little trickier in terms of club selection and setup?
Because of the nature of the downhill, that ball's just going to come out a little lower. So you've got to take that into consideration. It might run a little more on the back end.
Can't hide the flagstick from that man.
He is just unbelievable. That never deviated offline. Things pointed to a good week. Birdie there, very important right now.
Playing some good golf. Frank, what's the strategy here off the tee at the par 5 third?
For the long hitters, they still think that they can reach this par 5 and 2 comfortably with a good tee shot. For the shorter hitters, it really is a thought about where you lay up that second shot to try and leave a good third shot yardage in. Still a good tee shot, though. That hazard down the right side protects against someone who's a little too cavalier off the tee.
Frank, it's a nice walk to make down the fairway when you can see your golf ball right there in the middle.
Rich, there's an old saying, fairway first. There's another, very straightforward.
Just a beautiful tee shot. Frank, a really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. No problems there. Really good approach shot. And now, good look at birdie. Frank, that birdie will help the cause. Really nice mix of holes to start here at TPC Scottsdale. The 2 4s and then the par 5. Now our first par 3. Just a little over 180 yards, Frank.
Plays a little downhill, longer than what it once was. Green is radically different. Used to be deep, now it's wide. And the bunkering, of course, is visually totally different from what it used to be.
Nothing wrong with that one. Only about 15 feet away and a chance for birdie. Different day, different hole. Made bogey yesterday. He'll do better this time, it looks like. Frank, he took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with a... that's a good par there, Rich.
Well, Frank, now at the 5th hole, the par 4, the challenge stiffens just a bit.
Yeah, the longest par 4... obviously in the start of this golf course, around the 470-yard mark. 2 bunkers down the right have been changed to 1, but it's in the perfect position now. Of course, that new tee added to add a little bit of length to this hole. The green still remains relatively similar to what it used to be.
Second shot from 200. That's a bit offline in the rough. So in the first cut here, it could be worse. Well, that's what separates the good players from the great players. The ability to get it that close from that kind of lie. He'll take par and move on. Par 4 6th, and Frank, a couple of options here.
Yeah, a hole that bends to the left. A draw is the preferred shot off the tee. The longer hitters will have a big advantage. They'll be able to get it down there and just have a pitch or a short wedge into this. If you're not, that long, then you're going to have to lay it back short of those bunkers. That's going to leave a lengthy second shot.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. And this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards. Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. That's how you play the game. Right there. Stick it in close and then knock in the birdie. Just a little too much juice on that birdie putt, Frank.
It was bold. Very bold.
So a tester from 4 feet. Good putt. Now to the second par 3 on the front 9. This is the 7th hole.
Yeah, quite a stiff par 3 because of the narrowness in the front. Really favoring a higher shot that's going to land softly, and therefore you can open up that green, because the further back you go, the wider it gets.
Generate some momentum here at the 7th hole. This for birdie. Now this for birdie came away with par in the previous round. Missed on that one, Frank.
Yeah, not a problem.
Settles in over the putt. Doing what needs to be done. You need to make them from that distance. This is a good hole, Frank, the par 4 8th.
Yet another dogleg left, Rich, on the front side. And it's a sharper dogleg now because they've put in 2 bunkers down the left side. It used to be a bailout area for the players in the past. You can't do that anymore. And I doubt anybody can fly it over that left one. It's nearly 330 yards to carry that in the air. Those 2 bunkers have forced the players to go out to the right, making that second shot a little bit longer now.
It's a good spot right there.
Center cup.
That's in the fairway. Frank, this is just a pleasure to watch. A player hitting on all cylinders at the top of his game.
Notice it's just flowing too. There's not a lot of deep analysis going through his mind. Just one step in front of the other. If your swing's there, you don't have to find it. If your putting stroke's there, you don't have to find it. Just let it happen.
Well, that's how you play the game right there. Knock it on the green and give yourself a good look at birdie.
Really. This is an awkward length.
And with that birdie, moving into the top 5 on the leaderboard.
And we're starting to notice the name.
Here at the par 4 9th hole, Frank, what's the strategy off the tee?
Well, there's one bunker down the right side that you have to be very wary of. 325 yards to carry that, so it's very much in play, and just over 290 to reach it. Ideally, you have to go left about that down the left side. But really, this is a second shot hole because this green is not very deep.
On the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par. I mean, there's skill. And that was sublime.
Just good hands, coming out of the rough, able to manage the distance, and now in great position.
It's amazing. Doesn't matter how close it goes. It's an extra shot. That one will definitely hurt.
Well, a missed opportunity, no doubt. Just a couple of feet. Nine. Frank Hill will be very happy with his score at the end of the day.
Yeah, the hardest thing right now is to just keep doing the same thing without focusing on the score.
This is going to be a tough day on the links. I mean, even the seagulls are walking to work. Nothing to argue about there, right in the fairway. Second shot, good look at the green. Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. On the green, and a chance for birdie. Birdie try again here today. Had a nice birdie on this hole yesterday. That was a good run right there. Almost went in.
At least he's seen the line as it went past the hole. So just replicate that on the way back.
And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Moving on to the 11th hole, Frank, water all along the left side, 472 yards. How do you handle this one?
Well, this one's weird because the tees are a little off-center. They start down the right side, which makes it into a dogleg. And you mentioned the water. It always comes into play. And there are 0 fairway bunkers. You don't need them here at 11 because really it's all about the tee shot. Find the fairway. Then even though it's a long par 4, you should be able to at least attack that green safely. Miss the fairway to the right, which is the barrel outside, and your problems are just starting.
This hole really sets up well for the player. Birdie yesterday, and a chance for another one today. A makeable putt right here. He is currently sitting at 1 under par. Moves into the top 10 with that birdie. Well, Frank, this is kind of the forgotten par 3 on the back 9 here at TPC Scottsdale. All of that attention on hole number 16. What do you think of the par 3 12?
This is by far tougher, Rich. Downhill tee shot, especially off that back tee. Bunkering down the left, sort of it catches your eye, but it also takes your eye off the water, which is behind and to the right of this green. Got to be careful. This is a real sleeper, this par 3.
And as he strides up here to the 12th green, having hit it in regulation, he knows now that his work is by no means done. A long putt coming up. Speed wasn't bad on that long putt, but the read wasn't very good. These putts keep the round together. Oh, that hurts. Thought he had it. Locked in on the read and the speed. So not his best work. He'll walk away with a bogey. Par 5 13th, chance for birdie or maybe even eagle if you're bold and brave enough, but also, Frank, chance for disaster here?
Well, there is. Water very much in play down the right side. There's a bunker down the left too. If you finish up in that, there's no way you're going for this par 5 and 2. Then it becomes a little bit of a zigzag mission. The second shot either has to be hit down the right side, just skirting that bunker in the front, or it has to be all carry.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up. It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
That's well played. Now a good look at birdie. See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie. In complete command of his game. 9 under for the tournament with that birdie. Par 4 14th, and Frank, this hole packs a little punch, doesn't it?
Yeah, the addition of just a little bit more yardage, plus the bunker on the left has been pushed out into the fairway. It actually makes the whole play a little bit longer than its 490 yards. Second shot is a little bit uphill. No longer is there a bunker on the right side. That side of the green is actually open. You don't really want to be trying to miss that green on the right. Should you decide to go at the flag, well, you're going to have to carry that front bunker. There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. You got away with one right there. Just missed that bunker.
Yeah, that looked like it was sand the whole way.
Boy, this could be a tough one right here, Frank.
It's a very long putt, Rich. Obviously, it's difficult, but he still has a shot to sink this one for birdie.
What a sensational putt that was, Frank.
Unbelievable. Pace, line, everything to perfection.
Great scoring opportunity here at the par 5 15th, but Frank, I'm wondering, as a player, is your mind beginning to think about what's ahead at that par 3 16th hole?
Oh, they are. This is really the finishing stretch at TPC Scottsdale, where you get all these swing holes. 15 is a swing hole. 16, 17, and 18, where so many changes in the score can actually happen. But this one here is all about finding the fairway. A good drive down here will be well rewarded because you'll have a chance to reach this par 5 and 2.
Crucial eagle attempt on the way. Different day, different hole. Made bogey yesterday. He'll do better this time, it looks like. Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie. Set to go, not an easy shot by any means. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Struggling a bit with the flat stick and a drop shot here at the 15th hole. Something about this hole, it has not been kind. Bogey yesterday and staring at another one today. In for a bogey. Frank, the one moment that sort of made the 16th hole what it is today would have to be Tiger's ace in 1997 here at the TPC Scottsdale when it was raining plastic cups.
It was also his reaction, too, and that ushered in the Tiger Woods era that we became associated with, which is the fist-pumping, the rowdy spectators. I mean, he was one of the few players that bridged the gap between spectator and golf course. And it still goes on till today. And I think Rory McIlroy probably is the only other player that starts to broach that type of inside and outside atmosphere with golf.
Still to this day, it's the loudest single moment that I can ever remember hearing on a golf course. Frank, when you get to the 17th hole, we always recall maybe the single most bizarre shot in the history of golf.
Everybody talks about maybe a hole-in-one at 16, but really 17. And the player was Andrew McGee. It was a good tee shot, don't get me wrong. But Rich, it needed an assist.
Well, the assist came from Tom Byram, whose brother Kurt is a commentator for the Golf Channel. Tom Byram was just minding his own business, standing on the green, sort of leaning on his putter, and you know what happened.
Yeah, the ball hit Tom Byram's putter and then careened into the hole. So, 17. Made famous a little bit of history with a couple of names to drag up from the putt. And yet another birdie, this time inching into the top 5. Rich, 18 was always considered a long finishing hole.
Not for J.B. Holmes.
Yeah, the water was always in play. And then the day he took it over the left side and carried everything and went on to win, that completely changed the way this golf course played ever since that day.
And it resulted in some of the changes we're seeing now.
Yeah, evidence, the new bunkering down the left side, but it showed us all how much and how strong these guys are, how much they've improved over the years.
Great way to finish off the final approach shot with a birdie opportunity. Birdie putt coming up at a par on this hole yesterday. Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for Pop.
Settles in over the putt. Frank, how does that par help his cause?
It certainly doesn't hurt it.
So through 54 holes, a really good position inside the top 5 with 1 round to go.
Yeah, and those handful of players that we're looking at, Rich, they certainly have looked the best players this week, which makes tomorrow look like a real thriller.